welcome to the Girl Talk Oracle podcast, where we get into all things self-love, healing, leveling up, and becoming the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Kiera, helping you gain insight and clarity on life's challenges and opportunities. In these conversations, we'll get into the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Girl Talk Oracle podcast. I'm your host, Kiera. On this podcast, we get into all things self-love, healing, motivation, spiritual things, just topics of conversation to help you elevate and become the best version of yourself. If this is your first time, like I said, my name is Kiera. I'm not going to hold y'all too much. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this episode. Today, we're going to be talking about reinventing yourself, ways that you can reinvent yourself, things that can stop you from reinventing yourself, and just ways to just become a better version of yourself. I am the queen of reinvention, okay? Especially when it comes to reinventing myself. I have literally, cats have 9 lives, Key have 9 lives. I have literally reinvented myself so many times simply because I wanted to become a better version of myself. I've learned from my past mistakes when it comes to certain areas of my life, and I just thought I should share these topics, these inputs, whatever you want to call it, with you guys today. Signs that it is time for you to reinvent yourself is when you start to feel stagnant, you start to feel like you're not giving your all, you start to feel like you're just not in line with you believe that your truest purpose is. It could be if you are a makeup artist and you feel like you need to be a doctor. It could be you doing hair and you want to be a school teacher. Whenever you start to get to a place where you feel like you are not aligning with your truest purpose, it's time to reinvent the wheel. It's time to think of a better way to get to that path of alignment. Okay. Whenever you start to feel like you've been at the same place, no matter what you do, no matter how much you do it, no matter how often you do it, the schedules, the planning, if it's not working out, then it's time to reinvent the wheel. If you see yourself being a multimillionaire, are you going to be living in the mindset of someone who is dirt poor? No, you're not. You're going to be thinking and living like a multimillionaire. If you see yourself being a doctor, you're not going to be doing things that doctors wouldn't do. You're going to be doing all the necessary steps to become a doctor. My examples are fucking horrible, but I hope you get it. Okay. The first step to reinventing yourself is just letting go of the past. Like, you have to let go of any expectations that you've seen for yourself, especially when you don't meet deadlines that you thought you would meet. You have to just let that shit go. That is the hardest part of reinventing yourself. It's just letting go the past versions of yourself that no longer serves you, because why would I let that go? Speaking of letting things go, the version of me who was into makeup, I'm still into makeup clearly, but the version of me who was into makeup, the version of me who was into hair, nails, all that stuff, it was so hard for me to let that version of me die, because I loved it. I love that version of me. I go back and look at videos. I'm like, I love this version of me. Why would I let it go? Because it wasn't serving a purpose in my life anymore. I wasn't fulfilled doing makeup and doing hair. It just wasn't fulfilling to me. What's fulfilling to me is talking, giving advice, helping people, you know what I mean? And that's what I decided to do. And I feel more fulfilled doing these things. But I think letting go of the version of yourself where you are not as fulfilled, even though it makes you happy, if you're not as fulfilled, then maybe you should put something else at the front of that and keep, like, for example, for makeup, I'm keeping that as a hobby for me. It's not something that I want to make my career. I tried to make it my career, but it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? It's not something that I feel like I see as my career, not at this moment in time where I am right now. You never know what's going to happen in like 5, 10 years. You never know. But letting go of the past versions of yourself that you want to cling on to the most is the hardest part about reinventing yourself, because you have to pretty much rebuild a whole brand new version of yourself. You have to become a whole new identity. And I feel like that can send you into an identity crisis. I'm the biggest example of an identity crisis. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And I think the reason why it was so hard for me with my quote unquote identity crisis is because I documented my whole entire journey. I was on YouTube filming videos, vlogging, makeup, hair, just whatever, just content. I did a lot of content, and I would go back and look at those versions of myself and I'm like, damn, who the was that girl? But that was the version of myself that I needed to be in that moment. And when it was came time for me to reinvent myself, I'm like, okay, Kiera, how do you want to be perceived? Like, How do you want people to see you? Do you want to be seen as the girl who do makeup, or do you want to be seen as the person who gives advice? For me, I try to do both. I could not do both. I got burnt out. I did both for like a year, and I was so burnt out that I was off this I was off YouTube for a whole year. I was so burnt out. Um, but when you come to terms with like letting go of the versions of yourself that no longer serve you, I swear it's way easier to reinvent yourself. Those are going to be the first steps, is figuring out if you need to reinvent yourself. If you feel stagnant, if you feel like you're stuck, you know, it could be a sign that you need to reinvent, or, level up your life or do something different to change your energy and your momentum and the way that you're living, right? The next thing I would say is embracing your failures, because you fail in order to become better. You don't fail just to fail. You fail so that you can learn better to do better. So if you made a mistake in the past, you're going to learn from that mistake, and you're not going to repeat the same mistake unless you are insane and you do the same thing over and over and over and expect different results. No, when you fail, you have to come to terms that failures sometimes is what's going to lead you to your success. It's going to lead you to the better version of yourself. You're not going to become this better version of yourself by simply being perfect all the time. Nothing and nobody is perfect. Not one journey is perfect. Not one person in this world walking this earth is perfect, no matter how much they show you that they're perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. We're human. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect. You know what I mean? So you have to come to terms with your journey's not going to be perfect. And also, your journey is not going to be a one stop shop. You're going to continue to go on a journey. You're going to continue to restart, start over. You feel like, oh, I keep starting from the bottom. But always remember, you are never starting from the bottom. You are always starting with experience, because you have learned from your mistakes. Take your mistakes as lessons to get you to where you need to be, to get you further, versus using your lessons as something to hinder you and to keep you held back from your truest potential. When you use your failures as a clutch, or a crutch, I said a crutch is going to hold you back. But when you use your failures as motivation, as a lesson, lessons learned, shall I say, because sometimes lessons don't be learned, baby. But when you use your lessons as lessons learned, you'll be better off. You'll find out, you'll understand, okay, I did it this way last time, but this time I'm going to do something better. I'm going to be better. I'm going to figure out how I can make myself better. I'm going to figure out how I can do things better. I think the biggest thing that has led me to using my failures as a success would be, I will say, content creation. I've done content creation so many different ways. I've been doing content creation since like 2017, 18. And I think failing with content is what taught me how to be better when it comes to my content. Like sitting here with this mic, with a camera, with a ring light, learning how to operate my computer, with my camera connected to my, like, that didn't come overnight. It took trial and error. That was times where I would film a video and the audio was gone. Like, what the there was times where I would film a video and it's not focused. The frame per second is off. Like I'm filming in 30 frames per second and my video is moving in slow motion like a zombie. There was times where I tried to I was doing wig collaborations with companies and the wig was trash, and I said yes to it anyway. You learn from your mistakes to do better. I think that was like the biggest lesson for me when it comes to content creation. But in anything in life, you're going to have to learn better to do better. There are some people in the world that come out the gate swinging and they're amazing as soon as they start. You got people who start a channel, make 2 videos, and they blow up, get 1 million within months. That's not everybody's story, you know what I mean? So you always have to make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons when when you are reinventing yourself. Make sure that you are looking at all aspects of it. Like, I failed in this area because XYZ. I need to do better in this area because XYZ. How can I do better in this area? Even if it means taking notes, like literally taking notes and figuring out how you can be better when it comes to reinventing yourself. I know a lot of times, like, y'all probably like, girl, what are you even talking about? Because sometimes people get lost in when it comes to reinventing yourself. They think it's all about the outer appearance and like how you look and how you're perceived. It has a lot to do more with your inner and your mindset. If you are reinventing yourself and you only think about your appearance, your makeup, your hair, your nails, it plays a huge part in it, because you want to feel better, you want to be better, but it does not make a difference if your mindset is still the same. That's going to be tip number 3, making sure your mindset is where it needs to be. If your mindset is all over the place, baby, you're going to be all over the place. You have to get your mindset in check. If you're thinking negatively about yourself, dead that. If you're thinking that you're going to fail, did that, because you're going to fail if you think you are. You have to know and think that you're going to win. You have to think better to be better. Your mindset is the most important, honestly. If you ask me, I believe the mind is the most powerful thing. If you are lacking in the mind, you are lacking in the physical. Okay, if you are lacking in your mind, you're lacking in the physical. Next tip on reinventing yourself is going to be stepping out of your comfort zone. You can't reinvent yourself if you tend to do the same. I keep saying it. If you do the same thing over and over, expecting different results, it's insanity, okay? You have to do different things. You have to try different things. You have to expand your horizon. You have to go new places, try new things, meet new people. Sometimes even just being um even just meeting new people in different areas of your life is going to help you reinvent yourself, because there's people, sorry, I'm trying to get cozy and comfy. There's people in your life that you're going to find that will help you reinvent yourself, because you're meant to meet certain people for certain things. You're meant to meet certain people to teach you lessons, blessings. Um, I believe in soul families, soul tribes. Sometimes you're meant to meet people so that you can become a better version of yourself. Sometimes you're meant to meet people so that they can teach you a lesson. Sometimes you signed a soul contract with somebody and they're going to be here to, teach you a lesson on how you can go about living life. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone is going to be a huge part when it comes to reinventing yourself. You can't be scared to do new things, try new things, or just, being better. You have to be okay with change. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable. Being comfortable is not going to get you nowhere new. It's going to keep you in the same place, stuck, stagnant, and bored with life, honestly. Stepping out of your comfort zone, it plays a huge part in that. Like trying new things, even if you feel like it's going to fail, try it anyway. Because why not? You know what I mean? Like you have to be okay with trying different things. You have to be okay with failing, like we talked about before. Be comfortable with your failures, because that's what's going to teach you the lessons that you need to know. You can't be afraid to fail. If you're afraid to fail, you're not going to ever be successful, because the most successful people did things that people called them crazy for, and now they're fucking millionaires. You know what I mean? There's businesses that people thought would never get off the ground, would never make it from little mom, what is it, mom and pop shop, whatever you want to call them, millionaires. It's people that, if you look at the pictures of like the guy who started Amazon, the guy who started like what was the other one? I forget what the other business was, but we're gonna use the Amazon example. People probably thought that man was crazy. Look at that company now. Like, are you freaking like? The proof is in the pudding, okay? Like, you have to be okay with looking crazy too. And part of getting out of your comfort zone is being okay with looking crazy, because people are going to look at you like you're crazy, especially if you're doing something that's never been done before. If you're that creative and that unique to do something that's never been done before, people are going to look at you like you're crazy because it's never been done before. And you have to be okay with people looking at you that way, because who else going to do it? You going to do it. Who else going to do it? If it's meant for you, be okay with looking crazy, no matter what it is. I would take that crazy to be a millionaire any day, depending on the crazy. Okay, but I would take the crazy over with being a millionaire. Like I would. Um, you have to push it. You have to push through the awkwardness of being cringe. I used to feel like I was so cringe filming these videos. I don't give a fuck no more. Cause what? Cause what? I'm sitting here talking to my camera, and what? Somebody gonna watch it, and what? I might look crazy sharing my YouTube videos to my Facebook, and nobody's liking it or posting it, and what? Somebody's gonna like it and post it. I might look crazy thinking that I'm gonna be a millionaire, but and what? But when I become a millionaire, then what? You know, like you cannot be afraid to look crazy. Look crazy, be crazy, but you know what you are gonna be? Successful. Successful and crazy. And it's so crazy how when you are trying to be successful, people look at you like you're doing something wrong. They cringe at the things that you do, make you feel uncomfortable about following your truest purpose. Meanwhile, they're stuck stagnant in the same thing that they've been doing for the past 10 years. They're not trying anything new. You know what I mean? You can't be afraid of that. You like, especially the family, the friends that 10 years down the line and they're still stuck in the same spot that they was in, the same position. They don't have a say. They don't have a say. The only thing that has a say in your potential and you, that's between you, God, you, the universe, whoever you pray to, your higher power. Even it could be you versus you, honey. It don't got nothing to do with nobody else but you. So the next tip I would say when it comes to reinventing yourself, you have to think about the people that are around you. I think it's important to be around like-minded individuals when you are trying to reinvent yourself. Even if that means you have friends for certain things. A lot of people get offended when you say, "Oh, I have certain friends for certain occasions." I got going out friends. I got friends that I can invite out, but I can't invite them to my spiritual things. I got friends that I can invite to my home, to my mom's home, but I got friends that I won't invite to my mom's home, you know what I mean? Or to my home. I got coworkers, it just depends on who it is, like everybody has a certain friend group, and you have to be okay with the part that you play in people's lives. It's not always meant for you to be their club friend, their kicking it friend, also being their spiritual friend or whatever. For me, it's the spiritual things. Like there's certain things that I will not talk about with my going out kicking it friends that I will talk about my I hate to call them my spiritual friends. I guess I can call them my soul family, but the people that I can talk about my spiritual journey with, I'm not talking about that at the club with them. You know what I mean? Like, so it's different. It's different levels to friendships and the people that you have around you. And when I say being around like-minded individuals, I mean being around people that are going to understand you when it comes to reinventing yourself, especially when you are changing like a huge, huge level up in reinvention. I'm talking about changing completely. I mean, I'm talking about, let's say I just stopped going out to the club. Some of them club friends not going to get that. Some of them won't understand it. You know what I mean? So you have to be okay with being around people that understands you the most and being okay with letting people go. You got to be okay with letting people go. Sometimes, like I said, people are in your life for a lesson, a season, sometimes a reason. They're not always meant to be there all the time. They're not always meant to be there until old age. Some people come into your life just for that chapter of your life. You have to remember our life spans over decades if you are blessed. You have to remember that you're not going to be friends with everybody all the time. And sometimes you do have friends where, okay, y'all friends, but y'all never fall out. Y'all just separate. I have friends that I love dearly to this day, but we're not close anymore. But that doesn't mean that I don't love them. I still love them to death, but we're just not close anymore. We're not on the same align. We're not aligned anymore. And who's to say that we won't be aligned in a couple of years? Sometimes you have to be okay with letting people go. I used to hold on to friendships so bad because I thought, oh, they're my best friend. They need to be around forever. No, even best friends separate at some point in time, and to be truthful, I haven't had a best friend since high school. It's been 10 years since I had a best friend. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because I don't have time for, I would love a best friend. I'm not going to hold y'all, but I just don't have time for, um, you know, like I said, it's levels, and it's really hard the older you get to trust people. It's easier when you have a best friend that you had since grade school, high school, and y'all grew up together, and that's your best friend for life, versus finding an adult that you can genuinely trust. Because if you get one gut feeling that you can't trust somebody, I will go with it because your intuition is telling you something for a reason. I came across multiple people. I'm like, oh, she seemed like she'd be a good friend, but will she be a friend that I can trust with the most personal information? Sometimes the answer is no. You know what I mean? So it just all depends. Make sure you surround yourself with people that you can trust, people that understand you for you, people who are not going to judge you, and people that can be there for you even at your lowest times when you are trying to reinvent yourself and they understand that reinvent yourself does not happen overnight and it is not easy. Last thing I want y'all to take away from this episode is going to be, when it comes to reinventing yourself, you have to plan a vision for yourself. Think vision board, for example. Vision board is the biggest reinvention of yourself. It literally starts off, most people do vision boards for the year, of course. Sometimes you can do a vision board for every quarter of the year. You know what I mean? Put your year into seasons. Do one for winter, spring, fall, summer, however you want to do it. You can do a 6-month vision board. You can do a year vision board. Me personally, I'm still living off my 2022 vision board because there's still things on there that I have not accomplished that I'm going to accomplish. So I don't see no point in making a new vision board because I'm still going after the same goals. Of course, I could add to the vision board, but I'm still rocking with the same vision board. But you want to make sure you have a vision for yourself and give it time. Don't rush your potential. Don't rush your vision, your reinvention, should I say, because you're going to be reinventing yourself for a lifetime. This is not going to be the last time you reinvent yourself. This is not going to be the last time I reinvent myself. You never know, I might pop out a whole new version in 3 months, So you have to be okay with reinventing yourself over a lifespan. You have to be comfortable with that, but you also have to hold your vision of what you see for yourself, because what you see for yourself today might be different in 30 days. What you see for yourself in 30 days might be different for what you see for yourself in 5 years. So when it comes to reinventing yourself, you have to be okay with the change for a lifetime. And knowing that reinventing yourself is not all about looks. It's not all about, your appearance. It has a lot to do with your mindset and how you carry yourself. I hope y'all did enjoy this episode. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think of this conversation, and I will catch y'all back for another one. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Girl Talk Oracle podcast. Tuning into the Girl Talk Oracle podcast. I'm your host, Kiera. Make sure you head over to our Instagram at the Girl Talk Oracle, where you can keep up with the latest conversations for each episode. There is a dedicated post with questions that you can answer along to, so make sure you check it out over on our Instagram. Again, that is at the Girl Talk Oracle, and I will catch y'all in another episode.